7:01, and on Thursday, June 5th, 2025, and time to bring this meeting of the Bristol Redevelopment Commission to order. We'll start with roll call. To my right, Jeff Beachy.
Here.
Kathy Burke.
Here.
Greg Tuholsky.
Here.
Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli.
Here.
Town Manager Mike Yoder.
Yes, here.
Fire Chief Nick Hans. And Nick. Town Marshal Steve Preem.
Here.
And Legal Counsel Alex Bowman.
Here.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Has everyone been able to review?
Yes.
Yes.
Any changes?
Nope.
All right, if not, the agenda stands as published. Next item is the approval of minutes. Has everyone reviewed the minutes from our May 1st meeting?
Yes.
Okay, any changes necessary?
No, I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the May 1st, 2025 RDC meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Kathy, second by Jeff. Any further discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. Jeff Beachy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Greg Tuholsky,
Yes.
and Doug DeSmith is a yes. Motion carries. Mike, you're next.
Every year, the redevelopment commission has the opportunity to pass along some of the assessed value in our TIF districts onto some of the other tax agents like libraries, schools, et cetera. Generally, we do not do that because these funds are obligated. The increment is obligated, so we need to officially say, no, we are not.
Okay,
And that being said, we have a letter for you to sign, Doug.
okay. Do we need a
And then-
motion?
Please.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the RDC overlapping districts pass-through letter?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Greg, second by Jeff. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay,
Is this disapproving of it or is I haven't read all the
It
letters.
says we will not.
Okay,
right,
that's all I need to know.
Determination is made concerning. There is no excess assessed value.
Okay, thank you.
okay. If no further discussion, we'll take a vote. Jeff Beachy,
Yes.
Kathy Burke.
Yes.
Greg Tuholsky.
Yes.
And Doug DeSmith is a yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Kathy, if you can pass that to Doug, and then I will send that out to the taxing units at the top.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ready when you are.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
That was quick. Okay. All right.
Combination old school.
Yep,
All right. So today is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. It is 7:04 PM and we will call this the regular town council meeting for the town of Bristol to order. First item on the agenda is a pledge of allegiance. And Mike, you want to lead us tonight?
Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Next will be the approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Roll call. Roll call.
Oh, sorry. Roll call. Thanks. I'm awake. Third to my left, Doug Smith.
Here.
Kathy Burke.
Here.
Greg Tuholsky. Here. Jeff Beachy is here. Absent from council tonight, Dean Renfro. Off to my left, Town Marshal Steve Preem.
Here.
Legal Counsel Alex Bowman. Here. Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli.
here.
Town Manager Mike Yoder.
Here.
And Fire Chief Nick Hans. Okay, good evening, Nick. Now we can go to the approval of the agenda. So everybody had a chance to review the agenda.
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions, any changes, any corrections, any additions?
Nope.
Okay, if not, the agenda will stand as published. Next item on the agenda, approval of the invoices. Everybody had a chance to review the invoices that were sent out earlier?
Yes.
Okay, any questions on those?
Nope.
I make a motion, we approve the invoices.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Greg. Open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Tuholsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries. Okay. Next, we have reports. Looks like John, you are up.
I am.
Good evening.
Sure. I'm scrolling through those pictures now.
Oh, no, you gave it to Jimmy.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Good, how are you, Dan?
Good. Thank you all for having me here. I got some goodies here. If, they say you were a marshal, but I heard you got a promotion.
Well, I'm not sure. We'll say that's what item I was gonna bring up.
Oh, is that gonna be on the agenda later on?
Yeah, he'll be commissioner.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard, yeah. Pass those around for me. If you don't mind. I come to you with just some readings from the Attorney General, Todd Rakita. Some of these information, but I was just telling or your clerk treasurer that I used to hand these out before a meeting, before I started talking. And I did that one time in Hobart, Indiana, and everybody was scanning the QR code and wasn't paying attention at all. But the fire chief did scan it at the Hobart meeting and found $1,403, and he's raising his hand. Hey, how do I get how's the town get or the city get the money? And I was just on the job 2 weeks, so I really didn't know. Either scan this and go online and claim it. But now I have some, that was 4 years ago, so a little bit more reversed on it. I normally have just a kind of a speech to tell you all about the Attorney General and being the highest vote getter in Indiana history and all that kind of stuff, but you guys probably already know all that. It's kind of boring. So I am here to talk about unclaimed property. The clerk treasurer of a town or a city sometimes has to send in money that they, after they're doing their due diligence of someone in the town that they owe money to, they can't just go out and send that person a check. In some instances, they can do that, mainly with utilities, but if it's something to do with the town in general, it has to go to unclaimed property after a total of 3 years of due diligence. Used to be 2 years, and went to 3 years. Now it's still 3, so. But utilities is some little bit squirrely where the council or the board of works would have to approve to give the check back. And there's a limit on that, how much you can't give $10,000 back. So rules on that as well. But anyway, I'll get these out to you guys here in just a moment. And then I also left some material for the offices or for your office for people to come in and pay the bill. If you put those out for us, that'd be fine. But for the just a little bit of information about the AG's office and what we do. We have 20,000 cases going on at one time every day. We have 400 attorneys taking care of all that stuff. Somebody was speaking with me earlier, I believe Chief was, and we have Medicaid offices, one of them in each county at least. Some counties that are bigger have more Medicaid folks, but we do investigate Medicaid fraud. You know, the money is for the needy, not the greedy. And so far under AG Rakita's time in office, which is now his 5th year as Attorney General, we've recouped $285 million in fraud from the Medicaid folks that go out there and fraud and say that someone's supposed to get it, they're not really eligible to get it. So if you could help us, if you know of those cases or know of those things, please you can send it to me if you'd like to. I'll get you my card here in a moment. Or you can just get to the Medicaid fraud unit on our website at in.gov/AG. And we also are doing a great deal on scams right now. Has anybody got the new scam today? Text message, DMV?
We got it yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
First of all, in Indiana, we have a BMV.
Right.
Right.
So the policy's coming from a state like Illinois or Michigan, or wherever they have a DMV. And that's a scam. Please don't open those. And if you could.
So strong.
Yeah, I told you, you gave it to
A
Jimmy.
state employee, I can't afford another phone.
John, you should,
General there, sir.
you should have asked us beforehand.
Yeah,
It's-
to think he puts out fires. And
Well, that's, hey, if you can do that. I don't believe there's any fires on that phone yet.
Well, Meeting's not over yet, so just, Jimmy still has your phone in his hand, so.
But we do, if you can, share it on your website, any of those links. And I'll add you to our list, but I'll send you an email with those press releases. That sometimes would be helpful to get on your website or how we all communicate. If you have a call out, might be one of those, hey, this DMV thing is a fraud or a scam. I'll fall for it because people have fallen for it in the last 48 hours and they've had to stop making payments and those kind of things. It's been kind of crazy, but there'll be another one next week. And unfortunately, that's the best we can do. The FCC has been very helpful since January 20th with phone calls, scam phone calls, and robocalls. We have over 2.5 million every 10 minutes that come in from overseas. And that's just what we know of in Indiana. So we have a whole unit now just working on spam and robocalls. And trying to get that word out. The IRS will never call you. Remember that one. Indiana State Division of Revenue will never call you. Send you a letter and you'll call and they'll ask you to code this on the paper and verify that's the right person. Probably ask you for your address and those kind of things. But please don't take a call from the IRS or the Indiana Department of Revenue. It's not something that ever occurs. It's the other way around. They send you a letter, you call them. So please, if you can spread that word for us as well, that would be great. Just one more thing that I do want to mention, when it's back to unclaimed property. In 2023, we returned $81 million back to residents that actually own that money. But after 25 years, it sets in there, then the state gets it. So we encourage you to check it at least once a month. But right now, we're in the top 5 with the most unclaimed property in the country. We have $1 billion in our coffers of unclaimed property. They may ask what unclaimed property is. Well, say you have a bill from NIPSCO or a deposit for NIPSCO, and you move into an apartment. You leave, you get shut off, and they have nowhere to send the payment back to you. Unless you turn on NIPSCO somewhere else, and then they'll apply that, of course. But if you just go on and put it in your girlfriend's name or your husband's name or somebody else's name, but it wasn't yours, they have to do their due diligence for 3 years as well. Try to get it to you, but if not, it goes into unclaimed property. So we have the amounts from 69 cents, is the lowest amount of unclaimed property someone holds. That's from a BMV settlement a few years ago, on up to $1 million. Not property, but cash. There's other property.
That's fine.
Yeah,
And what name was that under again, Jim?
yeah, they don't get that. They don't give me their information. I have a suspicion of where it is, but I don't know who owns it. And that may be the problem. Maybe they don't know who owns it. That may be the problem. That's why it's not been claimed. But it's a work in progress every single day. We put on at least 100 new items every week. So sometimes you may think about your grandmother or your just an aunt, uncle. Look their names up as well, because you may be part and parcel of that money. You may be able to claim it as long as you have some documentations. We went from about 6 to 8 weeks to return money to about 9 days now.
Oh, wow.
Recouped it that fast. We have some different programs, and we used to have that the legislators allowed us to use social security numbers and other things to search for folks, but they're all secure. Our website is secure. It was through a check every morning because there's so much stuff out there. So, anybody have any questions at all?
I've heard that a lot of that unclaimed too can be unclaimed insurance
Yes, absolutely.
or, like
Stocks and bonds.
stocks and bonds, and documents that maybe a family member didn't even know that a relative had
Yeah.
an insurance policy.
We have a vault in Greenwood. We went through it about 2.5 months ago. And if, say, a bank has a safety deposit box and the person passes away, after 3 years, they have to try to get it to somebody that owns it. But grandma or grandpa never put anybody down. So then eventually it goes to there's firearms, there's diamond rings, there's coins, there's money from around the world. There's a lot of things in that vault that are like, eventually it will have to go to, I mean, there's Purple Hearts.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Eventually that'll have to go on. What we do is we put it on eBay actually, after the 25 years. And then that the value of it, the cash money part of it, then goes to the state. Can't put Purple Heart in the budget, doesn't kind of work, so. I know Mike's tried that probably with some other things, but I'm working on budget.
No comment.
Of course not.
I figured that, I said that. But we did have a record year in like I said, 85 million was returned, 81 million was returned in 2023. But we are here to help you if you, I know you have a town attorney, but for some reason something is confusing out of a new law that may hit the books, and they will July 1st, and SB 1 will be part of that. I pray for you. I was a former mayor and a former city councilman in the city of Portage, and I don't know, I'm glad I'm not there. They have to deal with it because it's going to be confusing, but we can help in our office. We do have an advisory division that can give you opinions on that, but you have to go through your state legislator to do that. You might be able to send me an email. I might be able to slide one through, but usually they say, now you know better, John. Legislator has to ask for this. But if for some reason you're not getting anything out of your legislator, we'll be happy to help you. So do that. So that's all I have. I don't take any more. Yes, ma'am.
I just have another.
I have questions.
Well, that's me.
That's all I do all day. That's all I do all day is wonderful.
Well, another thing is when you were talking about scams,
Mhm.
is there like a section on your website that will say which scams they are and how they
Yes.
come and
Yeah,
all?
we put them on there.
So we can look them up.
Yeah,
Great,
yeah. And then like if Mike can get them on the website or I'll call or whatever y'all do to communicate with the residents. That'd be wonderful.
That'd be
Do
great.
you all have an all-call system that people sign up to, then you can call them with the
We
information?
have something more modern, it's called an app on our phone.
Oh. I forgot I was in Bristol. Well, that was gonna be my next question, but there's usually an all-call, so the
Yeah,
towns have,
we don't.
and then the app, and then their, obviously their website, they also have Facebook feeds and.
We used to use text.gov and
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
archaic and
right,
yeah, the app is much better.
so, any other questions?
I'll
Yeah.
be honest, John, I was disappointed. You
I'm
pulled out
sorry.
your bag and
What, you got anything?
Wow. you pulled out your bag and you said you're gonna hand out goodies and you came from Indiana unclaimed. I thought maybe you were gonna hand out, some green stuff, but
I
we'll
know
take
you
this,
guys
thank
are
you.
owed $56.
It's got a dollar sign on it.
But thank you in all seriousness, thank you for coming in and talking to us.
You passed them out.
Did I
You passed them out, yeah. You passed
You
them
want,
out.
you want the extra ones, John?
You can keep them for,
Put them out for
one of these days I could possibly be famous, but I doubt it.
residents.
Maybe we could auction them.
If you guys don't mind me telling you this little story, I
Sure.
think we've already laughed enough with the phone dropping and all that kind of stuff, but I was,
We have that at pretty much every meeting.
Yeah.
I was, first on the job, I was in Fowler, Indiana, which is a very, very small town. And there's 3 members on their board, town manager, and that's it. And, I was on my way there and I stopped at a Dollar General, which every small town has a Dollar General. I didn't see yours, but.
We have.
On the south side of town.
Oh, okay, I come up, yeah, but, I stopped in there and I got a Diet Dr. Pepper. You can tell I need one of those. But anyway, there was this lady up at the front register ringing out, and she had this big bundle of toilet paper. And I heard the lady say, $9.69. The lady goes, I was here last week and it was only 8 something. She goes, well, prices go up, man. And I'm standing there going, oh, come on, let's roll. I gotta get to this meeting, And the lady said, well, I don't have the money for it. 2 little kids run in the building. Mommy, let's go. Right? She said, well, I don't have the money for this, this toilet paper. So I said, ma'am, just put it with my Dr. Pepper. I'll pay for it. Get on with these folks. And as I walk out with my Dr. Pepper, they're waiting at the car. And the lady said, Sir, I really appreciate you helping us out. Every time we use this paper, we'll think of you. So that's how this job goes. You all on the council, you all understand those kind of things happen.
Yep.
You as well out there in the field, and I give you all the kudos for what you do, and greetings from the AG on what you do as well, because this is the hardest job in America. To be a town council member, town manager, mayor, those are tough jobs. The toughest because have to get your hair cut tough. Well, maybe. But we were talking about getting haircuts earlier.
Yeah.
But it's the hardest because you're right here and have to deal with the folks, face to face at the grocery store or shop or, so we do understand what you're going through. We can be of any assistance. Do not hesitate to send an email to me and I'll get it to the proper place. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, John.
Mark, I'm on this right here.
Okay,
Okay, some more stuff for your office.
will do, thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks, Dave.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Send the bill, Mike.
Okay, Mike, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, as soon as we get our $56.
Yeah. Cost more than that, but that'll help.
Well, yeah. First up, we're hoping to open 2 bids tonight for our community crossing grant project. We have bid from Niblock and Reach
All
Right.
right, council, you guys have a sheet like
Yes.
that
Yes, thank
for
you.
your use. And we have 2 bid packets this evening. Like Mike said, Reith Riley and Niblock.
Mike, if I could ask, how much did y'all get?
This round, we received right at 500 some thousand.
Wow.
We received every call for the last 4 years.
I'd say it's been about that same amount.
Yeah, we've maxed it. We've come close to maxing our million.
Then how do you get your 500,000 match that?
We've got a really good town manager that manages the money. It's a variety, of either tip, increment, or MDH dollars or edit dollars.
Good. I know that's gonna be, some of the saving grace on SB one, really. That
Well,
continues.
Yeah, well,
How else would you do your paving, right?
yeah, except they went from 300 million down to 100. So it's be more competitive next year. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you all go. I just wanted to ask. I saw that on the agenda.
Thank you very
I wanted to ask
much.
How much you all got? Good night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
The base bid for Reith Riley is $474,886.20. They always tab their page. I'm so thankful for them. Niblock, base bid is $527,962. So with that,
Unusual.
Okay.
they still have to be reviewed. 527,
962.
962.
Yeah, Mark, if you need a desk, you can go down the end of all turn left, and my office is down there. Do we know in the bid package, did we include the contractor? Well, actually, this happens in 2 stages. The streets will have to be totally deconstructed down to dirt. And then there'll be a pause as we replace the water main, and then they need to come back in to pay. Was that in the contract, or was that in the bid documents? And if not, is that a problem that we should ask Reith Riley about before we order?
I can't answer if it's in there or not, but I do believe that yes is the answer to your.
We need to let them know.
Yes.
Here's the bid documents. So
Okay.
anyways, take as much time as you need.
Thank
All right, so we'll come back to awarding later then.
Okay.
You understand the complication here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure those numbers are exactly right. Cause I was trying to recover. Okay, next up, Great Lakes Laminating, they submitted a CF1 for personal property tax abatement. They got this in just in the deadline, the postmark was right. As past years, they've met all of their criteria. I think we have one more year left on this. And, but I expect that at our next meeting, we'll be considering a tax abatement for their new expansion. If you've been out by the site, they removed some fencing, getting ready to build, add on to the building, so. It's nice to have a company expanding.
Yes.
Yeah. But for this, ask that you, that they are in substantial compliance with the agreement.
Bless you. Yeah, they definitely, so their estimated was 1.5 in salaries, it actually is 5.5, so yeah, absolutely, they did. Okay.
does it have number of employees on that as well?
Yes.
They went from 50 to 100.
Right there, oh, just went by it.
Oh, I could look it up myself here. I got a computer.
Yeah. They were
It's on
gonna
the
add a
first-
minimum of 50, but on the first
First page.
page.
First page.
said,
150.
Yeah, so
Okay, thank you.
150.
Yeah,
So there it is.
yeah. Nice.
I make a motion, we have approved Great Lakes Laminating, CF1 for 2026, pay 2026, but it's for 2025.
Motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Doug Merritt here from US Sign Crafters. We introduced the concept of new signs at entry points of town, in town, and then Doug also had a proposal for a sign here at Town Hall off of Elkhart Street.
Okay.
And because we occasionally have people drive our by, I can't find it. Actually, today I had a contractor, couldn't find us on Main Street, drove in on the drive over here. But anyways. So Doug, they have pictures of everything in the packet and the prices and go for it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Doug Merritt, I live at, old number 4 Fire Station, 2319 Lincoln Way East, Mishawaka, Indiana, 46540. And, I gotta tell you, it's truly an honor. I really, enjoyed coming to Bristol, as I left the national sign industry and came back to my roots, here in the local, trade area. You know, I've gotten to know all the towns and municipalities. And one thing that we love to do is work for towns, cities, and villages. And you know, with that said, you have a beautiful side package before you. And we work closely with Mike, and we've come up with some different ideas and some different materials. You know, really what we wanted to do was, you know, bring about the new logo in a vibrant way, and you know, bring about materials that would be long-standing and give you the life cycle that you're looking for. And you know, with that, we presented some options, and I hope that those options, you know, are well received. And I'd love to work with you. And if you have a budget in mind, you know, we can always go back to the drawing board. We can look at various materials and, you know, make sure that, you know, we're keeping in mind budgetary requirements. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, and we are grateful to have worked with other municipalities on their signage in the downtown environments. And if you're familiar with the city of Mishawaka, my hometown, we just completed City Hall and we handled their parks department. And they have great signage. You know, I'm biased, but you know, With that being said, you know, I'm a sign guy, I'm a lifer. It's one of those type of things that, you know, I'm passionate about the artwork, passionate about the materials. And, I want to make sure that you get the best product that you can for your money. And, you know, with that, I'd love to answer any questions that you have based on the signage for the wayfinding as you come into the corridor, each corridor respectively, into the town, and then also the signage for municipal complex. So
Okay.
with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So let's see, there's a municipal complex, okay. So these are all non-illuminated?
So what we looked at is non-illuminated. We're happy to present illumination, but it's more in keeping with what you're looking for and what you desire in your downtown core.
Okay,
So it is non-illuminated.
okay.
One thing I'm wondering is, I look back here on the warranty and it's only 5 to 7 years, and that bothered me a little bit.
Well, sure, that's you know, that's natural. So with 5 to 7 year warranty, we always, you know, let clients know that if you have a southern exposure, most materials are going to, especially paint, vinyl applications. We can only go based on the warranty that's provided to us. And that warranty that's provided by 3M and manufacturers that are comparable to 3M, which is a leading, an industry leader, is 5 to 7 years. But the paint is an automotive paint. So just like with your car, as long as you take care of the signage will take care of you. So I always recommend, you know, little Dawn dish soap, you know, go out, you know, once or twice a year, you know, whether it be in the spring and the fall, go out and wash it down, take care of it, and it'll take care of you as well.
Is the difference between option 1 and option 2 basically just size?
Yes.
Yours is the next agenda item. You slip.
Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad.
Well, the numbers weren't too far off from this.
So where's the pricing for,
For this sign, I
Yeah.
think it's just
Yeah.
right
This
up on
page.
page.
okay,
I guess I'm not fond to the welcome to Bristol for the municipal building. I mean, that's more like a town limit comment. I do like Bristol Municipal
so where's the
Complex.
pricing for that one?
Page 20.
You're coming to it. I'm not sure why there was so many copies of that.
Well, one is the. town hall and
Oh, there we go, okay.
Yes, there we go.
Like how many signs are we looking at coming into town?
That's what you want for your budget, and if you want different size signs for the main corridors, we might go with larger signs like you have now. For some of the minor county roads, you might use a smaller sign.
What is the sign of the size of the signs that are now?
Do you recall that?
You know, they're approximately, you know, 4 by 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
About 24 square feet.
So this option A is gonna be pages 2 through 4, so,
That was, it goes prices, then the examples, so you're back up into the town. What you were at was the town halls.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So the pricing for this one. Okay, I skipped, okay,
Yes, there we go.
thank you. Okay, so that's 16 there. Hmm,
Mhm.
okay. What did we? You weren't here, but Kathy, you remember what our signs were before?
Cost-wise?
Yeah,
Oh,
If he
gosh.
was here, he might remember what we paid. We replaced one.
No,
I was thinking they were 10,000.
I think the one we replaced was in that, I was thinking around 10.
I was thinking
Yeah.
more 9, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the 9 to 10,000 range.
I can look it up.
So
And that sounds about right.
let me just look at the material. So this is, the material on this one is gonna be aluminum cabinet. When you say aluminum cabinet, is that help me understand the,
Certainly. So there's some depth to the cabinet itself. So when you drive past it, when you drive past the current signs, you'll find that they're wood carved signs.
Yeah.
And they're approximately about 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 inches deep.
Yep.
So the thickness.
Yep.
With this, you'll find this has a cabinet with some depth to it. So what we're trying to do is present not just a thin appearance, we're trying to offer a layered approach. So it brings to you a richer, more fuller design.
So being this is a cabinet, could these be rebuilt rather than like new acrylic
glad
and
you asked
vinyl
that.
instead of
So-
replacing like the wood carved?
That's exactly right. And working with Mike, we actually approached this project with the intent that if you had a problem, like for example, if you're on 15, as you're approaching the community, the sign is actually split.
Mm.
So that sign, you actually can drive by, and that's what prompted Mike and I to have a conversation actually, was that it was the sign base was split. This is modular in the sense that you can take components and replace them individually so that you don't have a $9,000 or $10,000 investment with a repair.
so that's,
I know it's kind of rough. Do you have any idea like what a rebuild cost would be since the cabinet's already there, it's already installed? Do you know
Sure,
approximately how much it would be to like just a refresh, like new acrylic, new vinyl, and just
Yeah, no, that's not a problem, not a problem. And again, a great question. So, you would be looking in that 3,000 to 5,000 range for a complete refresh.
roughly 5 to 7 years after warranty?
But you have to look at it from a southern exposure.
Right.
So, on the south entrance coming into the community, that one's gonna see the most attention from a life cycle span. Your eastern, your western, your northern, no. That one, those individual respective signs, you're not gonna see any repairs to those unless they're damaged by an automobile or somebody comes up and does something, God forbid,
Right.
does something with the sign. But that south exposure, we guarantee it's 5 to 7 years.
it says 6-inch square tube. What's the material for the tubes?
Aluminum.
Aluminum, okay.
Mhm.
Powder coat or paint?
So it'd be paint, so it'd be an automotive finish.
Okay,
And we stand behind that, and our warranty is the best in the area. We offer a 3-year warranty on the paint and the finish, and no other sign company in the area offers 3 years.
what's the 1/4-inch FCO? What does FCO stand for?
So that's flat cut out of acrylic.
Okay.
So, with that, be flush mounted with the cabinet, again, offering that depth. So you want it to have a little bit of dimension to it.
Okay.
And so it's not just, a vinyl application over a painted face.
Okay. So when you say these are more modular in construction, what exactly does it mean? How does the modularity play into that?
So what we can do is we can actually take the logo off the sign. We can take the cabinet off the posts and put them back. So it's
Okay.
modular in design in that sense.
Okay,
So if something, I wouldn't expect anything to fail, but if something
Yeah.
happened to the sign itself, something hit it, whether it be an automobile or a tree branch or something of that nature, if we need to pop that logo face off,
Yeah.
we can do that. And again, it's saving you
okay.
in the long run. And that way you're not looking at a $9,000 to $10,000 replacement in the long term.
How is the acrylic applied?
So, there's, a couple different methods. You know, with that acrylic, it's actually, a fixed, it's through a metal fastener.
Okay,
So when we break down that modular conception, when we break that down, we're just, you know, literally unbolting. The best way to describe it.
okay.
We're unbolting.
So you've got bolts and you've got, basically got a stud on the backside of the
That's
acrylic.
correct.
Okay. And how are the studs attached to the back of the acrylic? Is it glued or?
So it'd be glued.
Okay. Okay.
What's the other option? Option 2, that's further down. So that's A, unless it's.
Yeah, so that's 108 by 96. I think it was just size, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
87 by 72.
Yeah, because we were thinking about smaller ones on some of the
Yeah.
other roads.
Well,
Some
and,
of the peripheral streets.
let's see, in this one, or is that's page 4. Let me look, page 2. Page 2, the sign looks huge.
No, it's bigger.
I'm sorry?
It is bigger.
It is bigger.
It is
Yeah, a
bigger.
lot bigger
It is
than
bigger.
what we've got.
And again, we priced it, you know, based on these dimensions. And what we would do is we would work with the town and most importantly, look at, you know, a scenario where we could, work with Mike and maybe your traffic engineer, you know, your police department. And we can look at those dimensions and we can bring those dimensions down and the price will come down for you.
Mhm. I like the size of the signs we've got now.
Yeah.
Height wise from the ground and width, and they seem perfect, really.
Well, it's the logo. Shape of the logo would be a problem. The size we have would be pretty small.
I can't even remember what the signs look like.
It's narrower. I mean, the small size I think is a good size even for the main thoroughfares too. The other ones are pretty big. I mean, is
Yeah.
that within our sign ordinance? The big one even?
Why would I have thought to check that?
I mean, it's like that's a pretty good size sign.
Oh, my.
You say yes.
Okay. But I mean, depending where it is, like a size that low, I mean, is that create problems just going into traffic? Like, depending on
Well,
what
if
we
we
put.
locate it right, it shouldn't create a blind. We can't create a blind spot.
Right.
So we have to
Yeah,
protect
that would be.
And we would not promote that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just thinking from a size point, is that prevent areas we can put it if it's too big?
I don't know.
And what I would do is I would recommend, what we can do is we can do a mock-up. And provide a mock-up, which is a neutral material. It may not have, you know, all the bells and whistles. But we can put the graphic, we can put the logo on it, you know, and just be a vinyl application. And then, you know, present that sign, you know, within the built environment. So each quarter, you can take a look at it and say, you know, is this something that is suitable? And it's conducive to the road speed, number of travel lanes, because that's what we base our signage on. We want to make sure that it's compatible to the motoring public. So that it's legible, they can see it, and it's not obtrusive, it's not glaring, and it's not a hazard.
So if we look at, let's just say we look at these two options as the larger one being the ones that are on 15 and 120, and then
Yeah.
I think we have 4 of the smaller ones on 8, Division, Trout Creek. And where's the other one? There's just 3.
Yeah. County Road 8, Trout Creek, 15 north, 8 out here, 120. South.
15
There's a
north
bunch of
would be
them.
carried.
Yeah, I think there's 7 total,
I
right?
think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got the smaller ones are 8, Trout Creek and Division.
North of town. you do?
Oh, and then we've got out by Riverwatch, so there's 4. There's 4 small ones, 4 large ones. If we look at those 4 compared to these, if we get 4 small and 4 big at this price, we're talking $112,000.
What I was thinking is, I mean, even on the smaller roads coming into town, do we even need a sign like this? We can't just you know, don't we have, it says Bristol city limits on it? On the county roads coming into town?
We do.
We do.
The small ones, yeah.
Yeah,
You could choose to do the main roads right now and then come back.
both,
to do the
both,
other
both
roads later
15s
as
and
well.
120.
Yeah,
You wanna see a mock-up of just one of the signs so you get a sense of what the
Yeah.
size really is?
And I'm gonna go out and measure that sign out. So. See how high and low, and
And then,
you know me.
yeah. Since we've got an idea of the dollars, we don't have anything within our budget. Let's take an additional appropriation.
okay,
Probably
Yeah.
come out of edit, most likely.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the municipal complex signs are in the
Oh, yeah.
$18,000 to $22,000 range. Double.
Now, do you have any objection to having a municipal sign, basically like the city limit sign, or you want something more? What do I want to say?
I would think something that matches the building better,
Okay, that's what I was.
which is what this looks like it does.
Right.
It does.
Right,
Using the same brick.
It's substantial, so I mean, it complements the building and the materials that are.
I do know we need signs for this building. I had a lady stop me in my backyard the other day and wanted to know where the police department was. And I had to explain it's across from Harding's grocery store.
Oh, this sign looks like it's what should be right out here on Main Street.
Yes.
And the one with the logo.
Mm-hmm.
But on the back street, do we need this substantial of a sign?
I don't
or do
think
just
we
look more
would.
Something more like town hall and police department, Bristol Town Hall, something simple.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think it's so simple, because you don't want them using that anyways. I mean, the whole point, it's for the last, what, however many years the building's been in until last year, it's been closed off, so people couldn't go through there.
I know. And actually, since we've opened it up, there's been zero problems, I think. Yeah.
well, and if there's a sign back there that says it's the complex, there won't be as much drive-through traffic because they're gonna say, oh, it's not a road anymore, you know?
That's the spot that people have a hard time figuring out where they're at, is the south end. Occasionally, people miss it, even though
I still attempt
So-
turns.
Where do we envision putting these?
this initially started with something on the south side. Identifying that driveway as town hall and police department.
So they would be positioned north and south, so you can see it from east and
Right.
west both.
Yeah.
Same thing out here?
Yes. That landscaping's kind of crowded with the eagle right there, although there's a really ugly pine tree that could be removed. Replaced. I hope that's not somebody's favorite tree.
You don't like the back of the tree?
It's like, have you looked at that?
It's an ornamental.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it was just my personal opinion.
It's a wave, it's a wave
Yeah.
of the river.
It's the locals. But yes, and that would be a spot, and that might be something we want to wait until after we get a new street sidewalk in as well.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we can't put it on the other side of the sidewalk,
No, it has.
because
to
that's
be-
state property.
Right, it has to be this side, it'd be on our landscaping somewhere.
Okay.
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 So, are you interested in putting something back here, something that's simpler, or?
Yes,
Yeah, something simple.
it doesn't, yeah.
So what I'm hearing, I think you're looking for more of a post and panel. So.
Well, I don't know, what do you guys think about, you want that sign to reflect the design of the building as well?
I wouldn't think so.
We need something back there because we get a lot of our traffic to the police department comes off the Elk Cart.
Okay.
Unless you want that tight back there as well, they only scroll down to where it was just the wording and not the logo.
Yeah, I kind of like, honestly, I like the design front and back to be the same.
Okay.
It's more money, but I think it's,
I don't know.
Is that the one that you guys are leaning towards, design wise?
Spots.
You know, personally, I don't think we need the same sign out back as we do out front, but that's just me.
so what's the difference between this one and the other one? Are they size?
In color,
Cause it's
color.
dark brown with tan. Oh, there, okay. Blue logo versus tan
And
logo.
when says welcome,
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we need to welcome.
Oh,
them.
no.
Yeah.
You know, something that we, just listening to the conversation, you could do something that is reflective of the building, more prominent size for the north position.
Yeah.
And then do a scaled down version for the south position.
Yeah.
But still utilize the same materials. So you don't necessarily have to have both the same size.
Yeah.
They can be identical in design and color and layout, but just a smaller version, for the southern position.
Yeah. I like that, because then they're consistent, but the main one is out here and the smaller one is in the back. Plus, it helps with you guys, Steve, for visual. You're not blocking when you guys are pulling out or someone's pulling out of the building,
Yeah,
it's not an obstruction. So it's not causing accidents.
You even have to think about where to put it in the back.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Yeah. And not that I want to spend more money on them, but I could see this one, I could see this design being illuminated. Having not so much maybe just the Bristol part is illuminated. And I don't know if did you have the same construction as far as the cabinet with the applied acrylic on the front?
So what we would do is at that point, it would be a push through. So the dark area would be non-illuminated.
Yep.
And just the logo would be backlit.
Backlit, yeah. Yep, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Why
And
couldn't you just put solar lights on it?
Or couldn't you just do that one-sided right down in the bushes? As opposed to this way, blocking the driveway views.
I think the big complaint is, not being mean, but complaint is you can't find the building. I think that
You have to, you would have.
Need to make
have
it-
Going
As you're
this,
driving.
north to south.
you need to make it visual, so when people are driving tonight.
So when we first talked about that, who was out here that took us?
Adams Krzeski.
So we talked about, he was cognizant of needing to maintain sight distances or sight lines. And so we had space. Initially, we were thinking on the west side of the west drive and that lawn.
Yeah.
But we could put it right in the center as well. I think there's room, we could stick it in there and you still pull out and see both ways.
Yeah, especially if that one's smaller.
Yes. And if we lit it, then we've got power in that center. I don't think we've got power on that west side, but we would have power in the center landscape.
Yeah.
For illumination. And of course, we got power out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you,
I think I have some great feedback.
yeah,
I mean, at this point, I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to generate a revision if it's agreeable to the council. And then set up a time that we can do a mock-up.
Okay.
And, we'll do one mock-up of each size for the corridor signage. And that way everyone gets a good feeling for, the position of the signage. I would reflect on your current signage, go out, if you get a chance, take a look at the corridors and the signage that you have now.
Yeah.
But, most importantly, let's reconvene and we'll bring out, a couple of different sizes.
Okay.
And you can look at, and to me, that's money well spent, absorbed on our side. and that gives the council, a much better feeling about the expenditure and we can go from there.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
thank you, Doug.
Great.
Appreciate your
No,
time
thank
tonight.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you again for everything that you do. I think to echo the words of the AG's office, you guys have a hard job, and thank you for all that you do.
No, thank you, appreciate
you.
that.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Next, we have some work on the Opera House project. I'm gonna turn that over to Jill. I'm gonna take a bit of a break. Jill, hand you this.
Okay.
Her project. Go for it, Jill.
All right, so,
But Jeff, stand up, we'll be.
you want me
That was it, Joe.
to, Yoder loves doing that to me.
I know.
So, a few months ago, we worked with the Opera House to see how could we help with their facade campaign. So we know next year the awning has to come off, which comes some probably improvements with the siding and the building. So we presented like, how about a movie once a month throughout the summer months? They love the idea of that. There would be, one to bring awareness to the community, what's happening. A lot of people in the community's never even been inside the Opera House. So it was just a really cool project that they were all supportive of. So with that being said, over Memorial Day weekend, they had a water line bust in the upper floor. And fire department got there, shut the water off. But we're very fortunate that there was a bystander walking by that saw the water. That I think contacted the police department, who then contacted the fire department, water department, all the parties got involved. Caused some damage. Unfortunately, caused damage in the newer section of their building, not the back half, not the theater. So our first movie night was gonna have to be canceled because they weren't gonna be obviously allowed to let people inside. So the theater's good, but the entrance, we've had a few council members reach out to us, how can we help right now? One of the ways that the town can help is, let's move the movie nights, which will be June 28th, to Condon Park. Condon Park's available, but with that being said, now, how are we gonna display the movie? So I reached out to a couple companies, the best option, the least option financially for us is, Munster Message, which is in Elkhart. They have a very large LED screen, it's, I think, dual-sided, that they, are available that evening. They, heard the story of the Opera House and they wanna help as well. Their normal rate is $1,500 to come in. They'll run some advertisement, might be a great way to help promote our homecoming, awareness to what's happening with theater. They can do movies, clips, flyers, for that 30 to 45-minute window, and then they'll display the movie, all audio and everything. They even have a mic, so it's a great option for someone I would feel, on behalf of the Opera House to explain why we're doing this and help bring awareness and raise some funds. So the library is helping us do some kids activities. We will be showing the Lorax. And I've heard that the Lorax will be appearing at this event as well. And then we're gonna have a couple food trucks down there, still working on that, but we'll have a hot dog cart and Kona ice. So I don't think we're gonna charge admission for the movie because it's kind of right now since it's in the parks versus the theater ticket sales. But we're really gonna ask for suggested donations to try to help raise funds. So during July, they're also gonna do like maybe an open house, depending on where the repairs are at. And then they're also gonna do another one in September for the Corn Dog Festival. And then we'll hopefully be able in August to show a movie inside their venue. But with that being said, I am coming to the council to see if they would like to sponsor the message. He reduced his rate to $1,000 for this event. We do have the funds in the give back appropriation. They're already budgeted. If you guys are okay with moving forward with this, we can lock in the screen to help the theater raise funds for the facade campaign.
Okay.
And repairs to the damage.
So what's the Elkhart Civic Theater going to put toward this?
The
They're the ones that own it, yeah.
So they had put the funds towards, they bought a projector for their venue to show the movie. But to this, they're gonna help with the activities for the families. They're working with the Lorax to make the appearance of. But I'm not asking them to do any of the funds right now. I wanted to talk to the council first. Because we're trying to raise funds for their project.
You're aware, okay, I mean, this is, maybe you guys don't know, they have a warehouse where they store costumes that is in the block building over here
Okay,
behind that, and were they aware that that's for sale?
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
they have.
I'm just wondering as far as,
what block building?
John,
the one across from the bank,
building.
Oh,
John Starr's building. The back part is all costumes.
Oh.
Warehouse, front part's an apartment.
I imagine there's been communication.
I was
but I don't know.
wondering, about that too. That had nothing to do with what you brought up, but I just want to make you aware.
no, I was one that reached out to Mike about the, what can we do as a town? I think, in my opinion, that the Opera House is an important part of this town. It draws people here. And I know it's not, theater's not, people that are in theater aren't in it to make money, right? They do it it's their passion, it's their heart, it's their love. It's not these people aren't gonna get rich doing what they're doing, right? And the Opera House doesn't have a lot of funds to probably fix what happened, so I'm definitely in support of this. I would say at a minimum, we should do the monster message, and if not,
I don't
donate
have-
actual funds.
I don't have a problem with that.
Is monster message, is that the one that's over on Bristol Street?
They're off Holly Drive, I believe, Holly Lane in Elkhart, which I think is off Beardsley Street.
Oh, it's off Beardsley, that's right. Yeah, Beardsley. Beardsley, just before you get to Napanee Street, on the
Yeah.
other side of the road, yeah.
As far as the history of the Opera House, if you didn't know, the front left part of the Opera House was the first post office in town.
Yep.
And it's been, of course, over the years, and I had relatives that did the first play in there and all of that. And so I don't want to see another historical building like that lost in town.
Now, I'll make a motion that we donate $1,000 for the cost of the monster message sign, or the monster message board for the movie night.
I'll second.
Okay? It's a motion by Jeff, second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg DeHolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. You are all invited Saturday, June 28th, to come watch the Lorax and eat some food.
All right.
Well,
Corn dog.
No, but it's getting ready.
unfortunately, I won't be able to join the movie that night because we're hosting a wedding at our house that day.
Oh, no, well.
well, can we come to the
Which I
wedding?
talked to you about that. Steve.
I want to go to the wedding.
We're having the reception there too.
Ooh, I want to go to the reception. Forget the wedding.
Might as well, yeah. Sorry I jumped in, but you weren't at the podium, so I wasn't sure. I think I was done.
Okay,
Move to the next festival.
okay.
Not the same festival, sorry. I went to corn dog festival.
That's the second.
So, back to the movie nights. So Monogram is donating 200 corn dogs to sell for this event. All proceeds will go to the theater. So, awesome. But we need hands to help us cook corn dogs, I said hot dog, corn dogs. So we're asking staff and council, if they're available, Jeff, you've already said you're not, to come help us cook 200 corn dogs. We are working on a fryer method
A what?
to cook our corn
A
dogs.
what?
Fryer.
Deep fryer or turkey fryer.
Some
I
kind
don't,
of
Nick,
fryer.
just don't listen.
We may need.
So.
Keep going.
It's going to be approved by the fire marshal before we begin. But anyhow, Or it might just be a microwave, I don't know, but anyhow, we're working on, we just need more hands, we're asking our staff to volunteer a couple hours. I don't think it's gonna be an all-night event, but then you can stay and watch them.
Aren't they already deep fried?
What's that?
Aren't they already deep fried when we get them?
No,
No,
well, they are deep fried, but to cook them, they're frozen.
Yeah, so it,
Just get a bunch of microwaves.
just microwave.
They're better if you refry.
It is better.
Okay,
Do you have to have a festival permit for this? I'm just asking.
nope.
Nope.
It's
Why?
not, it's just a neighborhood picnic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all I wanted to know. I mean, you were talking
to
about
buy a
it's an
license for the
event and
movie?
I'm going,
No.
I didn't want to get in trouble.
I have we have so much support right now. The library is using, their license. for the
Oh.
movie.
okay, good.
The library is showing the movie.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect. Okay,
we have a lot of partnership, Monogram stepped up, like I said, so. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun event. For the
Cool.
community and help bring, hopefully some funds and awareness to the theater.
okay.
So let me know if you can help come cook corn dogs.
I wasn't doing,
Which,
I wasn't doing a wedding, I would.
Have you thought about selling ad space since you said they do ads before the movie?
So I just learned that Monster Message offered that, so no, I did not give that any thought, I just thought it might be a great time for the theater to sort of showcase why we're here and kind of hopefully, display the need. That is a good thought for the next time, I don't know if I have enough window.
Probably not.
Space right now.
only 3 weeks.
but
And Joel will be gone. Have you told the council about your
I emailed
exciting event?
them, yes, yeah.
Okay,
Are you done now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
Jackie.
We got another whole page to go yet.
Well, Mark is back, and this is like a long jury deliberation. I'm not sure what the verdict is going to be. So, what did you find, Mark?
Recommend that Reed Riley is the lowest responsible bidder. There is not a provision in the contract that you said for going down to dirt. You will be doing the water main and then coming back and finishing it.
So it'd be best if I at least called Reed Riley.
Yeah.
Niblock was aware of that.
Yes.
It's, okay, so
so, let me ask, was that not in the bid package?
it was not.
Why not?
Should be.
I don't know, because it didn't occur to me until last week that it wasn't there.
But Niblock knew about it because you told him?
No, because Niblock's got all the rest of the project, so they know they're installing a water main under
Oh.
this section. So we
Yeah, then we can't
just
rely
can't
on the
get
bid.
it included. My guess is Reed Riley's gonna say that's okay, but I think we need to learn that.
Well, yeah.
Because that's that they have to remobilize.
So, we're going down the dirt,
Mm-hmm.
then we have to pause, replace the water main, and then resurface, rebuild the road.
Right.
Who's doing the water main?
Niblock.
That's why they knew about it.
Yes.
But we don't think Ray
I
Riley knew about
I
it.
just think nobody
That we can't accept it. We
should
can't.
have, but we didn't.
Isn't this the short section of Alfred Street?
Right, it's just the one block from Division to,
It's not the whole
yeah, it's just the first block from,
Chatula,
uh,
not Chatula, Charles Street.
Charles. Yeah, well, there's one little section, the other end.
Is that behind my house?
And this one, we're
No.
talking this, look right here.
East side.
Right.
Okay.
So we've got two community crossing grant programs in action here. So the first one is from,
Charles. Ponderosa.
why can't I think of Rosemary's Road?
Charles.
Charles,
Street.
from Charles this way on both St. Joe and Elkhart. Well, then we learned about the water main needing to be replaced at the same time, so we went back to this one, which is from Charles to Division
What's
on
the,
those two streets.
what's the proposed start date?
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other
Yeah, see,
conversation.
Nick knows what I'm talking about.
Because we're doing Elkhart Street probably this
Tractor pull.
year, but we're doing St. Joe Street probably next spring.
Okay, but this bid isn't for this year,
Yeah, it is.
and it
Well,
starts
it's for-
when?
No, it's for whenever they can get to it, so it might be next spring, it might be this fall. They need to do Elkhart Street this year, from Easy Elkhart.
It
That's
has,
reason this is really, really.
it has to be after July 10th.
Right in November.
The
21st.
Mike, the tractor pull's back there
November of this
July
year.
10th.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
On
another.
Elkhart?
on Elkhart.
Yeah.
I'm not putting up with the 120 for the parade and that. It's the same year.
I thought Elkhart was scheduled for this year.
Elkhart is scheduled for this
Yes,
year.
and that's where the water main go.
It can, yeah,
The water main's being replaced in St. Joe as well.
it can start July 14th would be great.
Okay, we are bumping up against the deadline to get this into MDOT, so, but I need to talk to Reeds Riley tomorrow. I would just be fair to them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not, yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't impact their pricing, should it?
Yeah.
Yes, it
localization.
would.
Mobilization.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Actually, we're
yeah.
mobilizing almost 4 times now.
That's why I was surprised.
One in, one out, one in, one out.
Well, it needs to be a fair bid on both
Right.
sides, so,
Yep, so they need another chance and, or at
Yeah.
least a chance to,
Cover their cost.
yes.
I agree.
So,
So let's table this for now.
yeah,
Okay,
And Mark and I'll reconvene after I talk to Riley.
do we need a motion to table?
You might as well. I mean, it's,
Thank you.
the acceptance
Hey,
bid is just a prompt reasonableness standard, and that's by statute, so it really, the item is before you get
Yeah.
approve or deny, but if to take an official action to say, this is what we want done. I think
Yeah. So in light of the new conversation, the current conversation, I'm gonna make a motion that we table this award until you've had a chance to communicate with Reed Riley. And
This may
let
take
them
a special
make them
meeting.
aware to see if it impacts their bid in any way, shape or form.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion to table by Jeff, second by Doug, open for discussion. Anybody have any thoughts?
only the fair thing to do.
Okay. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow.
You wanna hold on to these since you're gonna talk to them?
Yep.
Okay, this is all the stuff you handed me. Okay, I don't have my stuff.
No,
Thank
I
you.
don't think they're aware of
Well,
something
you
like that, the way it is.
All right, very good. Okay, moving on. Thank you. We can. Anyways, wastewater project, we have several. Well, we have a couple things here, all with our water project. First up is a change order. To approve change order number 4. This will increase our cost to $38,421. This is the result of new lift station up at Commerce Drive. When it was engineered, this pipe and this pipe were supposed to be at the same level. Turns out things weren't quite that way. So now we have one pipe this level and one pipe this.
Jeez.
And it's one of those things that was unavoidable. We found it once we're under construction. So the plan is to put a manhole and a structure there, so the inflow is coming in at this level and the outflow to the lift station is coming in at this level. So we just put a cylinder there and we let things pass that way. That's $38,000.
Wow,
Expensive manhole.
I can dig a hole for that.
Well,
Right,
maybe.
typing.
Can you?
Yes, I can. I can install roofs and siding.
So that's what that is. I'd recommend we approve that because that's the solution.
Man,
In fact, I think it's might already be installed because we're trying to get that done up there.
Is there a motion to approve change order number 4? in the amount of $38,421.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion.
Can we take it out of Mike's salary?
No. I might as well just work for free.
Okay,
Jeff, what was the motion? Motion was,
To approve.
so change order number 4,
The amount,
38,421.
yeah, you got, that would be an increase and you got a decrease there as well.
No, the decrease is crossed out.
Yeah,
What about in line 2 there?
no, that was change order number 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
1 to 3, yeah, this is number 4, so.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll stand down.
Okay.
Any,
How come it doesn't say number 4 then?
It does, somewhere,
At the top, probably.
yeah.
change order number 4, right there.
So then, this is following all the change orders, so far, we've had a total decrease of $261,000.
1,
And,
2, 3, 4, okay.
yeah, so now we're taking some of that back.
Okay, any further discussion?
Nope.
Not, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Good job.
All right, next we have an SRF disbursement number 29, that's $71,880 for engineering services to Commonwealth.
I saw the breakdown. I forgot the 27,000 was for the transformer. The manhole is only 11,000.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I looked over earlier and it didn't seem that bad. It's just,
Anyway, this is what kind of helped, anyway, it was interesting. So the electric transformer for up there at the, no,
I don't know if it's the same.
I think it's a transition thing. So, it doesn't make any difference, it needs to happen, so. Engineering fees.
Where's your disbursement here? What's the change order?
There we go. Keep going.
Well, that's a change order.
No, went too far. I think. So,
What, number 22? No. Let's see.
I'm not seeing it on there.
I don't either.
Or is this still the lift station? Might
Yes.
be.
There's
Page
disbursement
64?
29.
yeah, you're still with change order, there's
Yeah, it's page 64 is where it starts. That's the transformer.
transformer, yeah.
Okay.
There we go, we get, well,
Yeah, okay,
there we go,
there's our,
there's 71,880 right there in section 4. Nice.
yeah. 71,880, okay. Third, a motion to approve SRF disbursement number 29 in the amount of $71,880 for engineering services.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Doug,
I'll second.
second by Greg, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item G is water state revolving fund disbursement requests. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Number 21 is to JPR for engineering, 36,296.
Where am I on this page here?
You're still Commonwealth, keep going.
That one.
This one here,
Mhm.
okay. Is there a motion to approve SRF disbursement number 21 to JPR in the amount of $36,296?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Greg, second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion, please vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries. Next one is
22.
Just one page following.
Fabricators, and that's $396,817. There's some retainage with this.
what do they do?
They are the tower, building the water tower.
Oh, the water tower, okay, so this doesn't have to do with the other, okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve pay application number 22 to Phoenix Fabricators in the amount of $396,817 with retainage amount of $20,885?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Greg, second by Kathy, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries.
Number 23 is Midlock excavating for $618,043 with some retainage of $32,529.
Okay,
This would be, didn't look at the invoice close, but they're doing both the water main work and site work out at the water tower. That could be a combination.
okay. Is there a motion to approve pay application number 23 to Niblock for $618,043 with retainage amount of $32,529?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Craig,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, please vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Number 24 is the Baker Tilly for $22,974. Kind of an aged invoice. Is this for their work on the bond?
This was the band funds, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve pay application number 24 in the amount of $22,974 to Baker Tilly?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
yes,
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries.
And the last one, number 25, is JPR for engineering services, $33,846.
Okay. Here. Okay. Last one, is there a motion to approve pay application number 25 in the amount of $33,846 to JPR?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Oh, thank you. Next, I'm, we still haven't closed on the Robert Reed building. So I'm a little nuts about that. I inquired this morning to the title company what the holdup was, and the response was, we got the recorded deed from Stoll property. Finally.
Oh, good. Good. I love it.
Nonetheless, we need to get started. I need to be ready to go with contractors to do some renovations on that building. So I'm getting 3 bids, 3 contractors. 2 of them are out today to look at the building. We're going to strip all the steel off the sides. The roof is in good shape. We have to strip all the steel off the sides, do some work, some of the original building, some of the posts are rotted down at the base, but we can shore those up with new skirting around it, new steel, new garage doors, and we'll be in good shape. So one contractor, I said, well, give me a ballpark. And he said, should be able to do this for around 20,000.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
was a
bad.
little surprised. We have set aside $100,000 for that site for renovations. So what I'd like is permission from you guys, as soon as I have the lowest bid, to sign a contract and get us scheduled. Because all these guys are scheduled out through July. They will be there. They can start 1st of August. We have streetlights being delivered sometime around mid-August, which I think I can push back to September, but we need to have our guys ready. It needs to be scheduled, so it's okay with you. I'll sign the contract, close one, and we're ready to go.
I'd like to know how much it is before you
I'll
sign
let
it. You gonna email us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that'd be nice.
And for sure, report back next meeting.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so some project updates. These are the fun things. Those things are decanters. That's what will float on the wastewater in the big tanks. And once the solids settle to the bottom, sucks the wastewater off the top and goes through the final clarification. So there'll be one of those
What's up there?
each. There's 3 of those, so there's 3 tanks. What's that?
The blue ones?
Yep,
Or the
blue
silver?
ones, the blue ones.
They're called decanters?
Decanters, yeah, so
I
they're,
thought you kept wine and
yeah,
decanters.
well, you decant wine and you decant sewage.
You want to drink, go right ahead.
You're drinkable.
Just saying.
Yeah, and so when you stroll on down, that's just an example, some of the equipment's starting to arrive. Whoops, there is that's the foundation for the new treatment building out at the South Well Field. We do very little treatment, but we have to have a building for that splash of chlorine that we put in. So that's the foundation for that. Next there's our water tower. There's actually, did I see a picture today of maybe three courses that are laid up now? So those yellow frame, cement gets poured, then those yellow forms come off and they move up another section. So we're started off to the my left. You'll see that's the doorway that we'll be able to go in, and we'll be able to park snow plows and other equipment in there. That's a door.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's moving right on up. There's a closer view, I guess. I guess that was it of my pictures. That's it. We have 400 feet of 10-inch water main that's been installed up on North River Road this week. And I found out that Niblock has never installed this type of pipe before. So the representatives from the company were out and everything went perfectly smoothly with no problems. So
Good.
that's good. The river crossing will start next Friday, going on the river.
The underground bore.
Yes.
I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just, between Jill and I will remember to let you know the day they're going to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
How long do they think that'll take?
I don't know. I don't think it'd take all that long, a couple hours maybe. I don't know how, it's 10-inch, so I don't know how long it takes shouldn't take long to go there, but how long it takes to pull it back, I don't know.
So where does it start and where does it end? I know it goes into
Fox
Favorite
Chase, yeah.
Fox Chase.
So just to the west of Formula Trailers, we have an easement to that property to go. So it'll be down by the river somewhere.
Okay. In a white van.
That's kind of,
Which river?
That was good.
So I'm just curious. I really do want to watch this because I'm just curious. How far back do they have to go off of County Road 8 to be able to get it to come up? Or, I mean,
I
because
don't know.
it's gotta be a gradual slope to come up. It can't be,
I think.
like a hockey stick.
I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah.
So how long is 8 gonna be closed?
Probably, well, it's open to local traffic. We're just, so at both the closure points, there's supposed to be a human being there allowing local traffic to get through.
No, there's not a
There
human
wasn't
being.
even-
8 is, they
Is
had
that
it
right?
closed,
Permanently
but there's no
closed.
traffic control. So there's
Yeah.
one lane, in front of the businesses that you can get through, but there's no traffic control. So it's just kind of like, you look and see it, yeah, you just kind of see if somebody's coming and then you can go. But yeah, there's no traffic control, there's not like,
Where are they when you need them?
Yeah, no.
Sitting in meetings.
Well, it's really hard if you, a lot of people that work in that
I'll,
part, and they've got County Road 8 closed and then
I'll
120
call
is a
them.
mess.
They specifically said that'd be flagged. flag.
Every time I've gone through going to work or coming home from work, it hasn't been anything. It hasn't been a problem though. I mean, most people are going around. Like I haven't noticed it being a problem. So
Okay.
it's not really.
I went around
I
the
sat
city, it
there
was moving.
Tuesday or Wednesday and watch traffic in the morning. And there's hardly any cars going through, because I was gonna start stopping the ones that went around the road both sides, but they were only working on the south side, and there was a lane of travel. You're right, the line of sight was fine, so I didn't mess with it, but it seemed to be
Well,
okay.
then, if you see problems start or anybody, let me know and I'll block, we'll get that corrected.
So how long's that gonna take to do that?
They won't be doing the under river work until next Friday is the current schedule.
And
So a
that's
week
the
from
2
tomorrow.
days. What has that scheduled for 2 days?
Friday,
days.
Saturday, Thursday, Friday.
Well, you're saying Friday there, but last week it was Tuesday, the 17th.
Yeah, Brian just said
might
yesterday,
have-
next Friday.
And that's the only thing that's got County Road 8 tied up right now?
No, they're putting water main along the road. That's 400 feet.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
this week, so.
Glad I
they'll be
don't-
working.
Is that one done? Or, no, it's not done yet,
What?
the 400 feet.
400 feet is in the ground now, but there's a lot more to go.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and just an interesting side story, we wanted to go through Formula Trailers and offer them a free connection in the future. They had that option last fall, winter, and nobody responded, and so we went back to them one more time. And I gave them a deadline last week that I needed an answer by Monday or Tuesday this week. Tuesday, the real estate person said, well, how much flexibility do you have? And I said, well, that's when I learned it was next Friday. So I can give you another day. I just said, I've got flexibility. She said, well, it'll take 60 to 90 days to get through our legal department.
Uh-huh.
And then I looked at, well, then I looked at the address of the realtor that was working on it, real estate manager, it's California. And
Of course. I'm surprised it's not China.
so there was no snarky remark email from me. I just said, no, it's too long. We're going to stay before we
Forget
this other property. But 60 to 90 days on a simple easement that was really in their benefit.
Well,
So now they'll, when they need to connect, they'll pay the full
yep,
improvement
they
cost.
lose.
So is this just a single house just to the west of there? Is that the one?
Right along, it's right along the boundary of, if I remember, right along the boundary, between the
Mhm.
boundary fence, property line fence, the formula, and the next property, there's some
Okay.
fair land down through there or something. He gave it to us, I mean, cost us nothing.
Nice.
But the other location was a little better, Niplock liked the other location better, so there was some advantages, but hey, we'll go here.
Okay.
Okay, other, Twin River Trails, I posted a picture on Facebook, that road is complete, new street is in, looks really great. If you haven't had a chance to go up there, it's really nice. And Elm Street, I didn't get a chance to go out there today, I'm assuming they're not quite done yet.
Just about.
Are they? That'll be nice, and,
Where's Elm?
what's that?
Where's Elm?
If you go to Depot and Elm matches up with Depot and goes.
Oh, okay. Yep, yep.
A lot of streets do that, so which side of, what's the next door street next?
I don't know street names that aren't near me.
Chestnut, maybe?
Chestnut sounds good, yeah.
Okay.
It's Illinois Elm Chestnut, right?
So, Niplock is doing some, I think, some extra work for us, it's not gonna cost us, but that street will be raised to improve drainage, and they're finding out there's a bunch of asphalt and concrete and other junk under that street. So apparently in the past, we just didn't mill anything out, we just kept adding
Mhm.
asphalt or something. And then there's some poor soil, they had to dig out some soil and put some good fill back
They've been
in.
working on a
So
lot.
they're-
They've
that
been
would be a
really
nice
busy on
street
that.
with a new sidewalk along that and.
Hmm.
Great thing for- That's all I have, fine.
Okay.
Only taken
Yay.
up
All right.
half of the meeting.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for Mike?
Nope.
Okay, Kathy.
I have
What do you have for us
additional
today?
appropriation ordinance number 6.5.2025-11. This was a request from the park board to appropriate $40,000 for renewal or upgrades to the basketball court.
Okay,
They have 123,000 in their fund currently and are pulling 40. Or would
Okay.
like to. This has been advertised and is just waiting for your approval.
all right. Is there
Public hearing?
public hearing?
Hold a public hearing on the additional appropriation and then, ready for adoption.
Okay.
I don't care, go ahead.
So at this time, we're gonna open up a public hearing to hear the review ordinance 6-5-2025-11, an additional appropriation for $40,000. Anybody in the room that would like to make public comment?
I hope Kathy put that in minutes.
I will, as a citizen of, I would like to make, as a resident of Bristol, I would like to ask a question. How much is the total project going to cost?
Not more than 40,000.
I thought you said they had some set aside for that.
That's out of that fund. No, they have no money in their budget to do this project, so.
Okay, so it is
they're
only-
pulling from their
okay.
non-reverted.
Okay, I now rescind being a resident of the town. I don't know how I do this.
Okay. Any other comments?
Put you up at the podium.
Okay,
At this point, we will close the public hearing.
203 West Vestula.
All right, so next item on the agenda would be to approve ordinance, are we
Adopt.
first adopt
Additional.
ordinance 6-5-2025-11.
I make that motion for the additional appropriation of $40,000.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes,
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
Okay, anything else, Kathy?
No, that's all I had. Thank you.
Anybody have anything for Kathy? Nope. Okay, if not, Alex,
oh, I gotta sign this.
doesn't look like you have anything, Alex?
Nothing formal for you this evening, number of irons in the fire, number of projects that hopefully in the near future will be wrapping up. The Robert Reed acquisition included in that list.
Okay.
So I hope to have a further update on those projects, the upcoming work session.
Okay, thank you. Do we have questions for Alex?
Nope.
Okay, if not, next item is privilege of the floor, otherwise known as public comment. Anyone in the room tonight like to make public comment? Jimmy? Jill?
I'm good. thank you.
Okay. Well, then we will close the public comment section and move on to town council discussion items. Doug, anything tonight?
Nothing.
Dean's not here. Kathy, anything tonight?
No,
Greg, anything tonight?
Nothing.
Okay. I do have one question. Where are we with the RFP for the
Well,
landing?
that's one of the things.
Yeah.
This is a mess.
Are we held up because of the because the AEP, INM, whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's, yeah, I can try to give some color to it if you'd like.
Take a shot at it. Then I'll fill in any blanks that you might.
So the gist of it's basically this, the town, through various acquisitions, owns the property essentially from, the intersection at Division and Vistula all the way to Redbird, right? The town also owns about a 10-foot strip that is along the riverbank. And then the town and INM generally agree that at some point in the last 100 years, INM has.
Actually, it was more recent than, it was back when Bill Weetrick was managed.
Was that, how long was that? Was that,
Maybe back in the, well, who was manager in like the late 90s? Would that be Bill?
that was Bill.
Bill,
So it was in the 90s.
okay. So that doing the title work, you look back at some of these deeds from there was a Bristol Power Company and there was something else. So anyway, the title record, both the town and INM generally agree that at some point in that period, INM deeded that property to the town. So there's a strip that runs, that GIS shows INM owns essentially from the Division Street Bridge all the way to Apollo Street. And again, the parties generally agree that that was deeded to the town at some point in time. Well, there's no deed of record that supports that. So the title work still shows that I&M owns it. Complicating factor is there are a number of other private property owners east of the Redbird included, that GIS doesn't seem to reflect the I&M ownership there, and so there's this potential overlap of ownership between what I&M said it deeded to the town and the private property owners that own that property that ostensibly goes to the riverbank. So, to move the RFP process forward, Mike has asked I&M, and we have prepared, with United Engineering's legal description. We've asked them to convey by quitclaim the property that is adjacent to what the town owns, for those 3 parcels that go up to the Redbird, so that the RFP process can move forward. The pushback from I&M seems to be, well, they want to have all of the title issues cleared in one fall swoop, seemingly without appreciating that once you get east of the property the town owns, it becomes a much more complicated issue than just executing the quitclaim deed that we've prepared and put before them. So that's kind of where the RFP sits at this point. It's in the decision to execute that quitclaim deed, which I've asked I&M, Mike has asked I&M to just execute. Because it seems to reflect the agreement of the parties and doesn't implicate any of these other private property owners. We've implored them to sign it. It sits before their real estate group at this point. So that's the best as I know about the status of it.
I will have an update from Jeff Reese tomorrow. He's meeting with I&M's new attorneys tomorrow. At the current moment, there's nobody authorized to even sign.
Right.
So it's I&M, not NIPSCO?
No, that's AEP. AEP and I&M, that's sort of the
Okay.
same.
I was
But
thinking,
I&M
I
is-
was thinking AEP was
Their
Michigan.
attorneys say that it would have been in Bill Weidrich in the 90s that the town hired an engineering or a surveyor, creating a legal description for that, and they maintain it was reported, and it's the county's recorder's office that has lost that information. And that should not be what's reflected on GIS right now, should reflect ownership of the town of Bristol.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we talked to the recorder's office?
What?
Have we talked to the recorder's office?
Yeah, we've actually done deep research. We can't find that. deep.
Yeah, we've done that to the recorder's office. We've had a title company here
Filed.
at Near North Title,
Mhm.
prepare title work for it. They can't find the deed. And that's, the quitclaim deed would satisfy that. I mean, the quitclaim deed is the easiest, most straightforward way for somebody to say, yeah, at one point in time, I know I own it, there's some dispute here, so here, just take it. Whatever I own, you have, quitclaim. So I'm of the position that that would be an effective way to resolve the issue and to get the town moving forward in that process, but it sits on a desk at I&M without somebody authorized to sign it.
Okay, so do we need all of this cleared up in order to move forward to the RFP? In my opinion, I don't think we do, but from a legal standpoint, because all we're asking people to do is, with this property, what would you do with it?
So, let's just say that it was settled, so, we have made some progress, we may be ready at the next work session to talk about details of the RFP.
And who's preparing this for us?
So JPR was hired to do that, they have now acquired, one of their engineers has now left. They've hired another engineer who actually has experience doing this. So I'm anxious to sit with her in the next week and see where we're at.
Because I know we've had some issues there with JPR. If we need to look elsewhere, then
Now, my sense was we couldn't go forward with the RFP until we had clear title of the entire property. That's where I was at.
Makes sense.
It's not, I mean, it isn't unfair, and I think that one of the preliminary matters someone would look at is, okay, what do you own? I mean, am I gonna be able to develop this? What are the contingencies? You still may have, as part of the RFP process, you may have reservations among someone who would submit an RFP since, the Riverwalk component through those additional properties to Apollo Street.
Yeah.
is an uphill climb from a legal standpoint, potentially. And again, they're really, at least from our standpoint, we haven't done, and United hasn't done a lot of investigation as to what would be necessary to clear up the issue east of the Redbird. But at least from what GIS indicates, facially, there could be some work to be done.
Yeah.
So let's say we get the RFP done and we get something light in November, we're ready to pull the trigger, but we don't have clear title. They can't get a building permit.
Right.
Right.
And so another option we talked about is just go quiet the title on the entire thing. And if AEP's gonna be a stinker about this, they would be friendly to us doing it that way, but I don't know, how long would it take to go through the courts to quiet the title and convey it all to us?
Well, it's always reading tea leaves a bit. To clear title to the entirety of what INM, what GIS reflects or whatever, what leave INM owns from Division to Apollo, it would, a quiet title action would include the individual property owners. And they would be adverse parties, so you would have some others who would be joined into that, so it wouldn't just be INM, I mean, you'd have INM that ostensibly would be a friendly opponent, given that these otherwise seem to agree with the analysis, they just can't get over the hump to finish it. You figure you're 30 days with a complaint, and then 30 days with a response, and then another 30 days before you get a status hearing with the court, and so you're into, assuming you filed it tomorrow, you're into probably September or October before there's any real movement, just in the case itself, and that doesn't get to the merits of it. You're probably winter before you're in the merits of the case.
So I think the plan is let's get the RFP done, ready to go.
Yes.
See where we're at on the ownership thing.
Yeah.
Now this is,
I don't want to rush it too fast because I know we've got to get through the legalities of the land ownership. But if we know that INM is saying, yes, we gave it to you,
Mhm.
and we know that at some point we're going to get it. I'd like to get the RFP out and have people start to respond to it. And we just put in the RFP that we're working through the legal description issues,
right,
but in essence, this is the property that we are talking about right here. And let people come to us with plans. And I'd rather do that now than, and please chime in, fellow council members, but I'd rather do that now than wait till we get through the legal process. If it takes us till September, October, we're not gonna have anything done. Now granted, we have to wait until the legal actions are finalized, but at least we could have something in the process so we know what's gonna go there.
Well, and I'll make the comment too, that, 2 points to that. One being, I don't recall anything in the statute that would preclude the town from publishing an RFP, even while the town is in the process of acquiring that. It's not a statutory prohibition, but if anything, it's persuasive value. Who do you attract if someone's familiar with the issue and
Yeah.
thinks that they're about to get involved in a fight with INM? So that would be point one. Point two, to the extent that the town wanted to pursue a quiet title action relative to just the space between the town and INM, that, I think, because you're not inviting or required to bring in the other property owners, the other individuals, that lawsuit looks a little different,
yeah, sure.
I think, because now it's just 1v1 with a friendly opponent. And even if they wanted to put up a fight, a deposition probably solves that issue and you're on to summary judgment. So that could be, again, nothing quick about litigation ever, but relative to an action quiet title of the entire riverfront, just those 3 parcels there west of the Redbird, I think that could be relatively expedited. So.
Okay. So is it INM's position and the town's position that we own that property from Division Street Bridge to Apollo Street? Or just the Redbird?
Yeah.
I think it's undisputed to the Redbird. undisputed to the Redbird.
Yeah,
I think I'd have to look back at what GIS reflects. Because my recollection is what GIS reflects is different even than what United's map of it showed. So I think once you get east of the town's property, abutting Redbird, you get into some different questions. Yeah, and that,
Yeah, but to Jeff's question, INM says without reservation, that's the town's property, all the way through.
Yeah.
Without reservation. And they claim they got documentation to prove it, but.
Be very easy to get with Redbird, you know, what they've got, if they've got any information on it.
Yeah,
which one, the Beacon?
the bank, yeah.
keeping in mind, an easy way to spook property owners is to let them know that you're looking to quiet title to their
Well,
land.
that's,
Well, I even went through a scenario where I just met with the property owners and said, wait, INM is not going to deal, INM has said they will not deal with individual property, only with the town.
Mhm.
So we could go to the property owners and say, if you'll allow us to work on your behalf, we'll clear up this title and you guys have it.
yes.
But then we're incurring a lot of crazy expense.
So we're saying that this is all,
That's Indiana Michigan Power, so.
yeah. INM Power, okay. And that's where we say that we agree with INM that we own that because they gave it to us. Yeah, okay.
But there are property owners along there who have attorneys that say that no, that there's deed work that says they own part of the river, which is not accurate because it's very clear on GIS. You can see that 10-foot strip between the river and the blue line
Yeah,
is owned by the town. So there's some deed work that needs to be done.
That's it,
Yeah.
down Bristol.
yeah, right there.
Yeah, but on the map, even said,
Yeah.
There's also I don't want to necessarily preview for any of the potential defendants in a quiet title action what their defenses would be, but depending on the historical use of their properties abutting the riverbank, there's potentially some adverse possession considerations as well.
I am still paying property taxes on that every year.
Well, that is that's nice. That's good to know.
I suggested that they just give me this, they wouldn't be paying their $70 a year in property taxes, think how much they'd save.
Yeah,
$70 a year.
well, that's great. Actually, that's very helpful to know that they've been paying that $70 a year. That's very helpful.
Okay,
Yeah,
So why would you be paying that if they don't give it?
all right.
that's the thing, if they don't think they own it, why are they paying the taxes on it? Well, it's because it's INM and it's a giant company and nobody's paying their taxes.
nobody cares.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I go,
Okay,
not on that.
next meeting is June 17th, next
Yep.
work session, June 17th, next council meeting, June 19th, and then July 3rd, council meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Greg, second by Doug, all in favor?
Aye.